Hello, Watch Your Chat here with your reminder that life is short. Buy the watch. Today we are talking about the Rolex GMT Master 2, also known in this configuration as the Pepsi, based on the soda. So the blue symbolizes night and red symbolizes day. And you can see that there's two hands here because it's a GMT function which can record multiple time zones. I think there's 3 you can record, but I only ever use 2. So what you do is you set the... Well, let's get it to... Yeah, if I've remembered it right, you're supposed to set the hour hand to the time that you're going to, and say, let's just say, I would say it's 11 o'clock here, right? So then let's just say it's daytime and 10 a.m. in my location. So that's your time zone that you're departing, and that's the time zone that you're going to. So I think that's right. To be honest, I never use it. So if I'm wrong, just grill me in the comments. So this is the Jubilee bracelet, which is the one I like, and clamshell clasp. Let's pull that up again with the Easy Link system, which, look, I'm still not used to it. I prefer the glide lock system or the sub, but that gives you one link. It's not super adjustable. I think this clasp is super scratchy. So if you don't like scratching your watch, just be mindful this scratches pretty badly. And look, I don't really mind too much about scratches along these brushed edges and the bracelet, but it really stands out on the clasp when it's high polished like that. So I'm not a fan of that clasp. High polish on the sides as well, and this really, I know it's the same construct as the sub, but it seems to scratch much easier. You can see a bit of tarnishing there on the edge. And yeah, funny story behind this one is that I didn't actually have it on the wait list. I got a phone call from the... Actually, it was actually after the Batgirl, which is the blue-black variation. And I got a phone call and I was super excited. I thought it might have been the Batgirl. And the AD said, look, GMT Master 2, it's the Pepsi, do you want it? And I said no. Crazy, right? I said no. And one of our friends thought, are you bloody crazy? And I said, well, it's not really a watch that I'd been eyeing. And the AD was also a little bit gobsmacked. He said, look, you know what? You should probably come in and try it on. He'll hold it for me. And so I went in and tried it on. And I guess my AD knows me better than I do. And the rest is history. It looks amazing. Now, I still do want the Batgirl. And I think you can get you can actually buy the Oyster bracelet now as well. But what I might do is get the Batman, if I can get it, with the Oyster. That way I could convince myself that I've got 4 watches, basically in each variation. Now I think the other con of this watch, well, one con of this watch is very hard to take these bracelets off and the spring bars. It's, again, I think Rolex designed it so that people don't do it. Having said that, this is perfect on the Jubilee, so I don't think there's any reason to change it out of the bracelet. The other thing is, I think there's a design flaw, which is probably well known, and that's the inability to get this color right. And that is, this is actually a red bezel dipped in, and then they chemical treat half of it to get it to blue. Under UV light, I don't have a UV light, this is all appears as red. You'd think they'd get that right by now, but they haven't been able to do it. And look, the reason why I said no was because under lights, it looks quite bright, the blue, but I think this is a 2024 version, and I think they must have darkened it in this version because it looked much better to me. It looks much darker to me. In the previous ones I'd seen them, they were quite light. Let's have a look at a lume shot. Pretty good lume. So yeah, that's the Pepsi. Don't know if there's much more to say about it. Look, I like the watch, and it's certainly staying in my collection, but I think I'm not passionately in love with this watch, and I think it's because I've still it's still growing on me. I think that's where it is. It's certainly, you wouldn't say no like I did if you get the opportunity. It's really sought after, but just goes to show you really should focus on buying what you actually really want. And so I think if I got the Batman Batgirl, I'd certainly wear that more than this GMT. I don't actually wear, I prefer the sub over the Pepsi, and that's mainly wearability more than anything because of the adjustment in the clasp. So that's the GMT. Now interestingly, what I'd like to say is that this Rolex came with the Datejust, and shortly after, I managed to pick up a Daytona Oyster Flex, all in the period of 6 months. So I'm thinking these watches are becoming more and more available. So if you really want a Rolex, just keep at it. So if you like that video, please click like and subscribe. And remember, life's short. Buy the watch.